Hey guys, welcome to my new YouTube channel. This is my first time making a YouTube video on YouTube, so I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to be covering some of the rumors about the iPad 3, and the biggest news to this whole week is that the iPad 3 is about to come out. Apple just sent out some invitations saying, and here's the picture, and it says that we have something you really have to see and touch.
Ooh, sounds kind of dirty.
Just like your mom. Now, Apple didn't say it's going to be announcing the iPad, the new iPad, but you can, from the picture, you can clearly predict that it's going to be about the iPad. On the calendar, it's pointing Wednesday 7, so March 7. And from the picture, you can see Keynote. So what I predict is that they may release some new features, like a new version of Keynote. Maybe it may not be possible, but the biggest thing about that picture is that you can't see the home button. So a lot of people are saying that Apple is about to ditch the home button, which I can clearly see why, because of the new multi-touch gestures on the current iPads. If you want to use multi-touch gestures on the iPad, go to Settings, General, multi-touch gestures on. So what you can do is you can go through pages like on Mac OS X, 4 fingers. Swipe like this. You go back to use multitasking. 3 fingers up. It's right here. Down. You can also instead of pressing the home button, which is why Apple's going to be ditching. You can use 4 fingers. Sorry. And that's all. Okay, the biggest rumor that everybody's been predicting ever since the iPad 2 came out is that it will have a Retina display. The iPhone 4 was the first to introduce the Retina display, then the iPod Touch 4th generation, then the iPhone 4S. Some guys had a sample of the iPad 3's display and they put it under a microscope, and they saw that the iPad 3 is going to have about 4 times more pixels than the current iPad. A rumor that cheered up a lot of people was that the iPad 3 is going to have 4G LTE. Now, the reason Apple doesn't put 4G on their iPhones is because it can waste a lot of battery life, and Apple really concentrates on the battery. But the iPad has 10 hours of battery life, so they thought it was pretty good to put 4G LTE on the iPad. But better news is that now the iPad is going to have more battery life, which is what is being predicted because Apple found some space. So the iPad 3 might have like 2 or 4 more hours of battery life. A lot of people that use the iPad 2 hate the camera because it's really suckish. So another big rumor is that the iPad is going to have better cameras front and back. Okay, so another big rumor was that the iPad 3 was going to be quad core, and if you don't know what quad core means, is that it means that it's going to be running with 4 of the processors. So if the iPad 2 was to run quad core, then that means it will have 2 A5 chips. So they thought it was gonna be running at quad core with the newer A6 chips, but there were some pictures leaked on the motherboard of the iPad that is showing what it seems to be an A5X chip. So what I think is that it will be running quad core on A5 chips, not A6 chips. Or maybe it's still dual core, but a little bit faster than the A5 chip, but not too fast to become A6. And if it does become quad core, the iPad is going to be like really fast. Another thing that makes me want to think that it's going to be quad core is the Keynote, because like I said, I think they're gonna make a few upgrades with the app Keynote on the iPad, and maybe iMovie, or maybe release Final Cut Pro mobile, whatever. So like where they have more features that the quad core can do and not dual core. A lot of people have seen some packages of the iPad already being shipped to places like Chicago, which is where I live.
So that little boy lives in Chicago, eh? I think I know where to go next. Oh, my nipples are hard.
So the iPad may be available in almost all the Apple stores very soon.